Any good chef knows the best way to get to the local produce
Thank you.
is to go as close to the source as possible.
I want some of those sugar chilies.
I'm gonna do one of those.
Today on Caprial and John's Kitchen, we'll visit one of the nation's top 10 farmers markets, and we'll come home with all we need to make fresh crab cocktail with roasted pepper coulis and warm potato salad with spring greens and roasted chicken.
National funding for Caprial and John's Kitchen was provided by Travel Oregon. Travel information is available at traveloregon.com.
And by Decor, ranges, wall ovens, cooktops, dishwashers, and outdoor grills for discerning cooks. Available nationwide at select dealers and showrooms. Decor. And Shun Cutlery, Shun by Kai USA Limited. Cutlery for the ultimate kitchen connoisseur, available at fine cutlery and kitchen stores. And by Pear Bureau Northwest.
Hello, welcome to Caprial and John's Kitchen. I'm John, and this is my lovely wife, Caprial.
Hi.
And we're gonna make a wonderful crab cocktail with a red pepper coulis, aren't we?
That's right, that's right. And we've also got a little bit of poblano chilies in there. And when we went to the market, we had these, those young kids that
They were working their way to go to France, and they were roasting the peppers off, and everything that they sold at their booth was money to raise so they could go to Europe.
I know, so we had to buy peppers and use them that day.
Yeah, we bought tons and tons of them. Like, you guys got to go to Europe.
So we made this little coulis that's very easy. You can make it days ahead of time if you want. And, you know, it takes 2 minutes in the blender.
Yeah, we have this blender here, and we have some peppers that we already roasted off.
So these are a sweet red pepper, and we've already peeled and seeded them. We're going to put those in the blender, and I'll show you the one here. So this is what it looks like when it's been roasted. What we did is we just put them on a sheet pan, threw them under the broiler, no oil, nothing, and you just let them cook until they start to blacken like they are there.
And the skin peels right off of them. And if you have a grill going, you can put them right on your grill and do the same thing. And you want to get them black. You don't want to get them the cinders on them. They're like kind of silver gray looking.
Yeah.
That means you overcooked it. And after you do that, you just put it in a bowl and you cover it with saran wrap or foil, and that will cook the insides of it.
And that makes it so much easier to get this skin off. So that's really easy to do. You know what, since I have this one, we might as well throw it in.
Let's put that one right in there. So we have the red pepper.
And then we did a poblano pepper, which is a medium spice pepper. Not real spicy, but a nice little bite.
It's got a little bit, but not too hot.
So this is the roasted poblano peppers, and they have this gorgeous forest green color. They really are a beautiful pepper. You want to throw that one in?
And we roasted this one the same way.
Yeah, so here's the roasted one with the stem and all.
Now when we were at the market, they had this big, huge tumbler with these propane torches on it, and they had all the peppers in there, and they were just, whoopsie. And they were just turning the tumbler around, and the propane torch were roasting the peppers. It smelled so good.
I know, we basically followed the smell of the peppers, like, who was the cartoon character that followed the hamburger smell?
Oh, I don't remember. Oh, it was Wimpy.
Yeah, we were
Hamburgers.
like that with the peppers. All right, so I have some fresh cilantro, leaves and all. You can throw the stems in there. It doesn't matter. With cilantro, the stems taste as good as the leaves, and just go ahead and just pull a bunch off and throw it on in. If you're like me, I like a little cilantro, not a ton.
So Cappy probably use about half that much, but I think this is going to be fine like this.
No, I think this is fine, but if you don't like cilantro, you can kind of introduce a little bit at a time, and then your palate starts to get used to it.
Right, and you could add basil to this. That would be great.
Basil would be a perfect substitute.
Some nice fresh flat leaf parsley.
This is ground cumin, and sometimes I like to toast it off a little bit before I use it, but we're only using a little bit in here, so it's not as big a deal.
Because when you toast it off, it kind of really makes it open up the flavors.
Right. So that's going in. And then I have a real thing about peppers and orange. I really like the combination of the two.
It's an excellent combination, I think. You got the heat, you got kind of the sweetness from the orange there.
Right, but we're gonna just use the zest of this. So we want nice, fine orange zest. Oh, that's like flying all over. It'll make me smell
Yeah,
good.
we need some for the coulis here.
So we've got this nice, fine orange zest because when you put the zest in there, I want you to have like a little bit of bite of orange in every single bite of this you get.
And it's going to be really subtle. It's not going to be overwhelming, I don't think.
No, you could put a lemon or a lime if you didn't have an orange, or even a grapefruit would be a good substitute.
So put that in, and then we're going to do a little garlic.
Right. So you're gonna do a little garlic demo.
So we're going to take the garlic like this.
Do you want this knife?
That's the knife to use. And then all I'm going to do is just crush it. Like so. You got to kind of lay into it a little bit. And then just break off a couple cloves. Like so. We're only going to need about 3. And then what I do is I take them, and I take the knife, and I just give it a little smack.
Just a little smack.
Just like a little love tap. Not too
love
hard.
tap.
A little love tap.
That's what you used to give your siblings when you're... That was probably a little harder, wasn't
Yeah, a
it?
little love tap.
John grew up in a big family,
And
so
then-
there's lots of fighting.
More than a love tap.
With your brothers,
Yeah.
probably.
And then after I do that, I take it, make sure the handle right here is off the cutting board, and you just give it a good whack.
Okay, now you can smack it.
And then we could chop this up, but since we're going to put it in the blender, that's going to do that job for me.
But the weight of the knife and the way that John's hitting is pretty much doing all the work for you.
You can
right
name
there.
it too if you want.
Yeah, if you're mad at somebody, you can get your aggression out on it. You know, certain spouses, if you're mad at them.
Hey, 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 hey.
A little bit of extra virgin olive oil to kind of round the flavors out. I put a little bit of salt and pepper already in here.
Put the top on, stand back.
Now you need to taste it and adjust the salt. If you're a big fan of spice and it's not spicy enough for you, you could always add a little bit of chili spice to it.
I think it tastes fine.
Enough salt?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. One thing about this is you don't want to over season it because sometimes the crab is a little salty, so you got to kind of watch
Exactly.
that edge. All
So
right.
we have that.
Let's. You want to julienne our lettuce?
So we're going to cut up the lettuce. We have some romaine, and we're just going to take it like so. And then I'm going to take the knife, and we're going to cut it real thin.
And so what the romaine's going to do, that's going to be the nice little bed for our crab.
This is
So I
great.
want it nice and crispy and really nice and thin.
So what kind of crab are we using here?
Of course we're using Dungeness crab.
Dungeness crab is caught here in the Northwest. Is that enough? That's enough.
Yeah, it might be enough.
Let's see, we're going to put a little bit of that
So we've
in.
got these great little glasses that have some ice in the bottom, and then they sit right in the ice, so it'll keep the crab nice and cold. We have some beautiful Dungeness crab meat, like John said. You want to use the crab that's good in your area, right? You want to use local and fresh.
And fresh.
And if you can't get crab, let's say crab's not a thing from your area, then try something like
Some prawns.
yeah, grilled shrimp, or even a poached whitefish you could do this with if that was what was local for you.
Oh, and if we could get some prawns that we get from Hood River.
Oh, the spot prawns?
Yeah, the spot prawns are
Not
great.
from Hood River, Hood Canal.
Hood Canal, sorry.
Somebody from Hood River will write us and say they don't
We'll
have
get it
prawns
from Hood
there.
River. Good
So-
place to go windsurfing, though.
Yeah. Do you want to cut the avocado? So I have my crab. We're going to do a nice little layer of crab.
We're going to take the avocado, and I'm just going to go right around like so. Take it out like that. Do a few swipes.
Are you showing them how you're doing that?
Yep. And then I'm going to go the opposite direction.
So a nice little crisscross.
And then,
And
it's just
then,
going
hold
to...
on here, let me get the sauce. Nice little bit of sauce right over the top.
Man, that looks really good.
Little bit of avocado for garnish.
Just break it and let it drop right in there. I could
Yum.
I could eat both of those.
I know, this
But
could
I'll-
be lunch.
I'll share with you.
This is the perfect little appetizer on a warm day. You know, this is part of what inspires us. You go to the market on the weekend, or we get up late, pretty late on Sunday,
Pretty late.
and go to our market, and then you see something like the guys roasting these peppers, and you think, okay, I got to do something with peppers. It's very
You
inspiring.
can get the peppers there, you can get the crab there, you get the lettuce there. It's one day shopping, and it's all local and it's all fresh.
This is a familiar scene in communities all over the country.
These shoppers know that to get to the best local produce, you should go as close to the source as possible.
And that means a Saturday morning trip to the farmer's market.
Look, sausage. Sausages. I love sausages. I'm gonna do one of those.
Hey, $1.50.
All right, there we go.
All right.
Before a hard day of shopping, we should start off with donuts. It's very important. I should have got 2 of them.
Now we're ready to find the real treasures.
Well, I'm bringing my best out here. That's
Too bad you guys can't smell those peppers. They're incredible.
I want some of those sugar chilies.
Sugar chilies. Now, these are not too hot, but kind of medium hot.
Yeah, they'll have a good sweet flavor, but there'll still be some spice with them. They're a really good chili for salsa.
$1.
These are nice and fresh and crispy.
Getting to talk to the farmers about their products, ask them questions, and learn about what's fresh makes this a big attraction.
The one you should try is our cranberry. Because what happens is we take the sweet honey and then the tart cranberries, and it gives you a really unique flavor.
I'm not usually a big fan of cranberries
No,
either.
that's really good. That's really good.
Sweet, that
Mhm, the nice tart in the face as well.
I'll take your money.
you so real, because I know how this works, all right?
And one warning, when you go early. By afternoon, most of these vendors will be sold out. We had a great day here at the Beaverton Farmers Market. This is one of the 10 best farmers market in the country.
This is a killer market. I mean, we shop for some sunflowers, we got some green beans, we got some tomatoes.
Some peppers.
We've got a plan here too, and it's huge. You could do all your shopping here for the entire week, I think.
So if you have a farmer's market in your area, you really should search it out because it is such a wealth of inspiration and great food.
I think it's a candy store for adults. it's like Disneyland almost.
It is, especially for chefs, and especially, about August when just about everything is in season. It's
Well,
so
the
great.
Beaverton's Farmer Market is huge. It's one of the largest ones in the country, and it was great.
It was actually Beaverton Farmers Market where we shot that was voted one of the top 10 markets in the country, which is
Okay.
pretty amazing.
Well, let's cook with the ingredients that we got at the market.
Right, we use a natural chicken. John and I both really believe that this is really important. And most of the farmers markets in our area and possibly other places in the country, you can get a really great chicken.
They carry these chickens, and the thing that I found out about natural chickens is if you happen to overcook them, they're still moist and juicy.
Right, they are a little more forgiving, which is kind of nice for people.
Well, let's start roasting this guy.
All right, so we're gonna use a little sea salt on here, and the sea salt gives it this really nice crunch. And of course, some nice cracked black pepper. And then we have some fresh thyme, and I just start to fill the cavity with the fresh herbs. A little bit of fresh rosemary. Whatever you have in your garden, just go ahead and put it in the pan.
Some oregano would be great in there. That'd be fine. And if you can, but I like, or you don't have to, but we're gonna pour a little bit of olive oil over the top. I love olive oil.
It's also really good for you too, so.
And then just a little bit of lemon zest on the top.
So a little bit of lemon zest really adds some nice flavor to the chicken. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll even take the lemon and just cut it in half and throw it on in with the chicken too.
And if you want to, you can chop up some fresh herbs and rub that on top of the chicken if you want. Just depends on how much time you have, but we want to make this nice and simple.
Right. This recipe has a little extra few steps, but you can just do the roasted chicken. This is just great for dinner. Roasted chicken, a little bit of salad and some potatoes, and I'm
Mashed
pretty
potatoes.
happy. Yeah, mashed potatoes would be good too. And then I have some garlic, and you can either take a whole head of garlic and just cut it in half, or you can smash some cloves up. So it's totally up to you. You can smash these and just kind of expose them, or what I also like to do is just cut it right in half, and then you've exposed all these cloves of garlic to the chicken, and it really perfumes the chicken.
Right, and you just
makes
put
the
that
house
right
smell
in the
great.
cavity.
Right. So you just don't have to
Cram
be
it
too,
in there.
Don't
No,
have to be
no,
too
no.
delicate about it. Just
This is another rustic way to cook.
yeah. It's the John method of cooking. All right, I'll take this over to the oven and we'll get this roasting. And for a chicken, I actually like a nice hot oven so it gets really nice and crispy. Depending on the size of the chicken, you know, an hour, hour and 15. Usually I do it on convection. If you don't have convection, you can just bump the temperature up 25 degrees. Alrighty?
Okay, so
One,
for
step
salad,
one.
we got the chicken in. Now we got to do the potatoes. And these potatoes are really easy. These are nice little Yukon Golds. Now, if you want, you can cut them in half, but you don't have to. I think this is a perfect size right here to eat.
Yeah, when they're like this little golf ball size, to me, they're best when they're whole.
Right. And all we're going to do to these is just add a little bit of olive oil.
So if you've ever roasted potatoes before and they haven't gotten crispy, part of the problem is that, one, your pan's not hot, and two, the potatoes, like if you just drizzle olive oil on the pan.
That's a hard word to
I
say.
know, that was hard to say. If you just drizzle olive oil on the pan, then the potatoes go on and you don't necessarily know you have oil on the pan. But if you oil the potatoes, then you know it's
And
all
then they don't
oiled.
stick. And another thing to do is make sure you don't overcrowd the pan because there's a lot of moisture in here and it'll steam the potatoes and they won't get brown. And we want to make
Right.
it brown and crispy.
So you'd rather have a bigger pan and fewer potatoes than too many potatoes in a small pan.
Little olive oil, salt and pepper, and off to the oven we go.
Back to the oven we go.
So what we do here is we have our, there we go. We have a hot pan in there, really, really smoking hot, and we're just gonna take the potatoes and pour them right in there. And then we're just gonna put them back in, close up the door. It's gonna take about 20 minutes to roast these potatoes.
It'll really depend on the size of the potatoes, how long they roast, but you want to roast them just till they're nice and tender.
Right, so we have the chicken roasting, we have potatoes roasting. Now we have to do is make our dressing. We're almost done.
Right. And if you've been to one of our classes before, you will know our favorite thing to do is lecture our students a little bit about not buying salad dressing.
Make homemade dressing. You can make tons of this stuff. It'll keep for a long time.
And it's so much better for you. There's no additives, there's no gums, there's no extra sugar in there. There's a lot of stuff that's in commercially produced salad dressing that you don't need.
Right, and all these ingredients are fresh. There's very few of them. You probably have most of this stuff in your pantry at home.
Right. And you can just take the method of what we're doing and not worry so much about the ingredients of what we're using. You could use any vinegar. So
Right.
just look at how we're making this.
So we have a nice balsamic vinegar
Nope,
here.
sherry.
Oh, sorry, sherry vinegar. Look like balsamic.
So a nice sherry vinegar has a nice nutty flavor to it, and it's a real kind of a medium acid vinegar.
And we could use balsamic vinegar.
You could
couldn't
totally use balsamic.
we? Okay, so we have some garlic.
Little chopped garlic. If you have a shallot around the house, you could throw a shallot in.
And we have some fresh chopped thyme here. We're going to put in two kinds of mustards here. We're going to put in a whole grain mustard. This kind of gives a little texture, what I like in it.
So a whole grain doesn't really have that really strong mustard flavor. So hence the reason why we're putting a little Dijon in
And
too.
then we have some Dijon, and this is going to help keep the dressing, keep it thick, keep it emulsified, and that's what we want. So Cappy's going to whisk. I'm going to add the olive oil very slowly. So whisk, 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 whisk. And what we're looking for is a nice emulsification. You probably heard us talk about that before. And it's just going to come together. And then what you want to do is taste it. And once you taste it, you want to taste the
A
acid.
little faster there, darling.
You want to taste the acid?
You can't talk and work at the same time.
Yeah, I can. And then the oil and the finish.
You'll need more.
More? Okay.
So you want about 1 part vinegar to 3 parts oil. So no matter what flavor dressing you're making, as long as you do that, you're going to be about right. But you need to taste it because
A little salt.
maybe you like your dressing a little tangier, or maybe you like it a little milder. Like for our kids, we make it a little milder.
Yes, my son Alex, he doesn't like it really tangy.
No.
How's that taste?
It's a
More
little tangy, but it's us, so we're fine.
I think it's going to be good with the chicken.
I like it tangy,
Okay.
so it's good. It's a delicious dressing.
Let's put this over here.
Needs a tiny bit more salt, though. I did that while you were going.
Potatoes.
All right, so we have some potatoes that we roasted off that have been cooling, and they're about room temperature. You know, this is kind of a summery, late fall, warm day dinner. So we're going to dish up our potatoes first. So this is kind of a little layered salad. So I'm putting my nice potatoes See how nice and brown? Look at these, like in here. They've got this nice, crispy brown quality to them. So even at room temperature, they're gonna have a nice little bit of crunch to them. Absolutely delicious. All right, then we have some beautiful watercress.
I took the watercress and I just plucked it off. Look at that, it's a beautiful green. We're gonna put that right on top.
But depending on the season, you could use arugula, you could use butter lettuce, you could use frisee.
Some fresh romaine. I like
Yeah.
this though, this is nice and leafy.
Well, I like the watercress because it has this nice little pepperiness to it.
And I'm just gonna cut off the breast here and I'm gonna follow it right down the keel bone here.
And then I'm gonna drizzle some dressing right over the greens and the potatoes, just while John's finishing taking that chicken off.
Let me just pull this right off like so.
Okay, here, let me get that out of the way so they can see it.
And I pulled that chicken breast right off. It came off perfect. That's enough for one person, I think. And I'm just gonna cut it in half. You can slice it up a little bit more if you want. And we'll just lay that right on top, like so. Here we go.
And then a tiny bit more dressing over the top of the chicken. Now the thing about this salad, you know, everybody thinks that you and I are eating these sort of whoop-de-doo dinners.
You do extravagant dinners
Yes.
all the time. We've been known to eat macaroni and cheese at times.
Homemade macaroni.
That we made ourselves.
Yeah. Not boxed, but homemade. And this is the kind of thing that we eat at home. It's simple. You just throw some potatoes in. You've got some greens. Even if you go to a really good grocery store and get some nice greens that are in season that have already been washed, that's exactly the right thing to do.
And this, everything that you made here, you made yourself and you know where you got it from. And I think that's the important thing.
Right. Part of why we want to encourage people to go to the farmer's market is we want you to know the source of your food. And pretty much everywhere across the country, farmers markets are starting to pop up all across the land.
And it's really important to support your local farmer.
It is. So now I think we might need to have a little wine with this and maybe taste our crab cocktail too.
Let's go.
All right, so we're gonna take this over and have some wine. This is probably one of my favorite dinners right here.
This is gorgeous. I mean, look at what we got at the farmer's market. It was a few ingredients. We brought it back and this is what we prepared. A nice, beautiful meal. It's a hot summer day.
I know.
This is a perfect thing to eat.
And the nice thing about what we did here is that you can pull these components out and make different things. Like you can just do this and a little fresh cold tomato soup and you have a really elegant little dinner party. Or you just roast the chicken, or you just make the dressing for a salad.
You could take this crab and substitute it for the chicken. Put the
That's a good
coulis
idea.
on top of that too. I mean, you can mix it up all around. That's the fun part about cooking is you don't have to do exactly the way we show you. Mix it up a little bit.
Right, you can take all these little dishes that we did, like just the coulis, and take that out and make another dish.
And it's a nice, simple, very fast thing to cook. And if you don't have time to roast the chicken, you can get a nice roasted chicken at your grocery store and take the meat off and put it on there, and that's really going to cut down some time for you.
As long as it's local and organic.
It's an important thing to do that, especially going to the farmer's market. You can get all that, all there, all the time.
The other thing that we have is, of course, wine with this.
We have a nice Pinot Gris, and that's made here right in Oregon, Southern Oregon.
Yes, this is Pinot Gris from Southern Oregon. It's from Del Rio Vineyards, and Del Rio is down near Roseburg, which is in the south part of Oregon, and unbelievably slow to, I think, lots of other parts of the country. We have lots of sun down there, and the grapes tend to get a little more lushness to them, which I think is such a nice combination with the crab. Crab tends to be a little sweeter and a little richer, and the lushness of this grape sort of gives you a nice complement.
It's going to go perfect with it.
And you know, most of the time we suggest to people that they don't serve white wine ice cold. But if it's a hot summer day, I like my wine a little bit colder.
Especially it's about 100 degrees. And it can get that temperature here in Portland.
Only for a few days a year, though.
I think you should try some of that chicken.
I think we've worked on this long enough that I think I at least should get a potato out of there. Because potatoes are my favorite thing. I could probably just have potatoes and dressing for dinner and be quite happy.
You have a little potato.
A little dressing, a little watercress.
I'm going to have a little chicken here. This looks really good.
That dressing's so good with the potatoes because it's still nice and tangy.
And the chicken, nice and fresh. And I didn't overcook it. And that's a nice thing about the chicken, especially when it's
perfect.
natural.
Well, thank you for joining us today. Go out and go to your farmer's market. We'll see you again soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To learn more about Caprial and John's Kitchen or to find recipes featured on this program, visit our website at www.caprialandjohnskitchen.com.
National funding for Caprial and John's Kitchen was provided by Travel Oregon. Travel information is available at traveloregon.com.
And by Decor, ranges, wall ovens, cooktops, dishwashers, and outdoor grills for discerning cooks. Available nationwide at select dealers and showrooms. Decor. And Schoon Cutlery, Schoon by Kai USA Limited. Cutlery for the ultimate kitchen connoisseur, available at fine cutlery and kitchen stores. And by Pear Bureau Northwest.
Did you get lost?
No, you got lost. I found you. Bring him. Spicy.